Most people walk through life convinced they have time. Time to write that book, time to build that dream, time to love deeply, to forgive, to heal, to create. But what if I told you the greatest tragedy is not death itself, but dying with everything inside you still untouched? Think for a moment about the countless dreams buried with the dreamers who were too afraid to act, too busy to start, or too convinced that tomorrow was guaranteed. Imagine the songs never sung, the inventions never built, the lives never touched by a word of encouragement you were meant to give. Graveyards are not just places where bodies rest. They are silent vaults of wasted potential. Every headstone marks a story unfinished, a passion unexpressed, a masterpiece locked away forever. Yet, amid this sobering reality, there is a choice. Each sunrise is a reminder that you still have breath in your lungs and purpose in your bones. You still have time, but not forever. There is a reason your heart aches for more, why your spirit nudges you at night when the world is quiet and your excuses are nowhere to hide behind. It's life itself reminding you that you carry treasures within you that the world desperately needs. This is not about chasing fame or riches. It's about refusing to hoard what was never meant to be buried with you. It's about living in such a way that when your eyes close for the final time, you leave behind nothing but memories of a life poured out to its last drop. So, ask yourself honestly, if today were your last day, would you die empty? Or would your grave inherit the dreams you kept locked inside? Have you ever paused to consider what you're truly capable of achieving in your lifetime? Not just the day-to-day tasks that keep you busy, but the extraordinary contributions that only you, with your unique blend of experiences, gifts, and passions, can offer the world. So many people drift through life without ever scratching the surface of what they could be. They follow routines, meet expectations, and chase comforts, all the while ignoring that quiet voice inside whispering, "There is more in you." The sad reality is that the graveyard holds more potential than the tallest bank or the busiest marketplace. Why? Because countless people depart this world with unfinished manuscripts, unspoken apologies, unrealized inventions, and unshared wisdom still buried within them. Life for many becomes a cycle of postponement. One day I'll write that story. One day I'll launch that idea. One day I'll make things right with that person. And then one day never comes. Yet imagine, for a moment, the kind of world we'd live in if people decided to pour themselves out fully. If every artist painted every vision in their mind, if every teacher imparted every ounce of knowledge, if every leader mentored others with no reservation, and if every individual simply shared the love, encouragement, and lessons they've gathered along the way. What would our communities look like if we all made it our mission to die empty, to leave nothing undone, nothing unsaid, nothing locked away inside us? This concept is not meant to be morbid or frightening. Rather, it's a profound call to live with urgency and purpose. It's a reminder that life is fragile and unpredictable, and that the greatest gift you can give yourself and the world is to live every day with the intention of giving away everything you carry inside you. This does not mean working until you collapse or burning yourself out. Instead, it means being intentional about recognizing your gifts, nurturing them, and then sharing them freely. It means understanding that your ideas matter, your story matters, and the impact you can make goes far beyond what you might believe right now. It means refusing to allow fear, doubt, or comfort to silence the treasure that only you can offer. When you choose to live this way, you transform ordinary days into building blocks of an extraordinary legacy. The goal is simple yet profound. Live so fully that when your final day arrives, you can rest, knowing you left nothing behind except the memory of a life well lived and fully given. One of the greatest challenges we face as human beings is the subtle danger of wasted potential. From a young age, we are often taught to pursue security, stability, and predictable success. We follow the same path carved by generations before us. Get an education, find a job, build a family, and retire comfortably. While there is nothing wrong with these milestones, the tragedy lies in how easily we become trapped in them, forgetting to cultivate and release the unique gifts we carry within. The truth is, inside each person is an idea, a talent, a dream, or a message that could shift the course of a life, a family, or even an entire community. But fear, doubt, and complacency are powerful opponents. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, "Oh, I'll start tomorrow," only to repeat that thought day after day until years slip through your fingers unnoticed? How often have you felt a surge of inspiration to begin a project, write a book, launch a business, or help someone in need, only to silence that spark with excuses like, "I'm not ready," or "What will people think?" The reality is harsh. Our time on this earth is not infinite, yet we live as if tomorrow is guaranteed. Procrastination becomes a comfortable hiding place for our dreams. Fear becomes a shield that convinces us we are safer doing nothing than risking failure or judgment. Meanwhile, the world moves on, never knowing what was locked inside us. This challenge is not just personal, it is collective. When individuals hoard their gifts, entire communities suffer the loss. Opportunities for innovation are missed. Words that could heal wounds remain unspoken. Acts of kindness that could change lives go undone. It's a ripple effect that extends far beyond the individual. One unrealized dream can mean a missing piece in someone else's puzzle of purpose. Overcoming this problem demands brutal honesty and conscious action. It requires us to admit when we're living below our true potential and to confront the fears that keep us stuck in the comfortable and familiar. It calls for a daily decision to choose courage over comfort, progress over perfection, and contribution over mere existence. This is not an easy path because it challenges our deepest insecurities and dismantles the excuses we have grown attached to. Yet it is only by facing this challenge that we ensure we won't leave this world carrying treasures meant to be shared, lessons meant to be taught, and love meant to be given away freely. Before our time runs out, embracing the mindset of living fully and dying empty is not something that happens overnight. It requires a conscious shift in how we view our time, talents, and responsibilities. The first step is awareness, becoming deeply aware that you hold something inside you that no one else does. Your perspective, your voice, your life story, your skills, and your compassion are a unique combination that the world has never seen before and never will again once you are gone. Recognizing this truth awakens a sense of responsibility to do something meaningful with it. Once you accept this, the next step is to cultivate courage. Fear is often the strongest force keeping our potential locked away. It whispers that we might fail, that others will laugh, that we might lose what little we have if we risk stepping into the unknown. But the cost of not trying is far greater than the cost of failure. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means taking action despite it. It's found in moments of vulnerability when you share your ideas, when you put your art into the world, when you speak up for what you believe, and when you take that first trembling step towards an unfamiliar dream. Another important aspect is intentional daily action. Big dreams are inspiring but can feel paralyzing if they stay too vague. Breaking them down into small, manageable steps creates momentum. Write a single page each day instead of obsessing over a 300-page book. Have one meaningful conversation instead of worrying about changing 1,000 lives overnight. Small seeds planted daily can grow into forests over time. So it's also vital to surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow and remind you of your potential when you forget. Negative environments and toxic relationships drain the energy needed to live fully. Seek out mentors, supportive friends, or communities who celebrate your courage and hold you accountable for using your gifts. Equally important is learning to silence the voice of perfectionism. Many never start because they think their work must be flawless before it's shared. But the truth is, growth happens through doing, refining, and doing again. What you have right now, your raw ideas, your imperfect draft, your simple act of kindness is already valuable. Finally, keep your purpose in front of you daily. Remind yourself that life is short and unpredictable. Every moment spent hoarding your gifts is a moment wasted. By cultivating awareness, courage, daily action, supportive connections, and a forgiving mindset, you build a life that steadily empties itself of all it has to give. In doing so, you create a legacy that no grave can ever contain. There comes a moment in every person's life when the weight of unrealized potential becomes too heavy to ignore. Often, this realization does not arrive with fanfare, but through quiet reflection or a sudden wake-up call. It might be the loss of a loved one, a health scare, or standing at the edge of a missed opportunity. In that moment, the excuses that once felt valid begin to crumble. You see, time for what it truly is, a gift that cannot be hoarded, paused, or reclaimed once it slips through your grasp. This clarity can be unsettling, but it is also liberating. It forces you to ask, what am I holding back that the world needs now, not tomorrow? For many, this turning point comes when they witness someone else living fully, watching a friend launch a business despite fear, hearing an artist share a raw piece of their soul, or seeing an ordinary person stand up for what they believe in against all odds can spark a fire inside you. Suddenly you understand that courage is not reserved for the fearless, but for the willing. You realize that your gifts are not just about you, they are the answer to someone else's question, the healing for someone's pain, the inspiration for someone's journey. In this defining moment, you stop worrying about being ready and start being real. You sit down and write the first page. You pick up the phone and apologize or forgive. You step onto a stage, launch a channel, or simply have that conversation you've avoided for years. It may not look grand to the outside world, but to you, it feels like breaking chains. This key moment teaches you that life's true fulfillment does not come from what you accumulate, but from what you pour out. When you taste the freedom of releasing what has long been buried within you, you crave more of it. You begin to crave the feeling of an empty cup at the end of each day, knowing you've given all you could. Your words, your ideas, your presence, your compassion. This decision, repeated daily, transforms how you live. No longer do you drift through days on autopilot. Instead, you become intentional with your time, your talents, and your connections. You understand deeply that the goal is not to reach the end of your life with dreams still inside you, but to arrive at your final moment utterly emptied, content in knowing that nothing precious remained locked away. When you choose to live with the conviction that you must die empty, you rewrite the story of your existence. It is a mindset that shifts your focus from merely surviving to truly living, not just for yourself, but for every life your gifts will touch. Embracing this way of life means you wake up each morning with a renewed sense of purpose, eager to discover what more you can contribute before the sun sets again. You no longer allow fear to be your jailer or procrastination to be your lullaby. Instead, you become intentional about using every drop of talent, every idea, every bit of wisdom you've gathered along the way. Living with this awareness brings a freedom that cannot be bought. It frees you from the regret that plagues so many in their final days. The regret of words unspoken, dreams unpursued, and potential wasted. By choosing to die empty, you ensure that regret is replaced by peace and pride in a life fully poured out. You begin to understand that your worth is not measured by what you store up for yourself, but by what you freely release to others. The impact of your life is multiplied each time you share a story that inspires, teach a lesson that empowers, or extend a hand that lifts someone up. This way of living is not reserved for heroes or the exceptionally talented. It is for the parent who chooses to love and guide their children wholeheartedly, the teacher who stays after class to mentor a struggling student, the artist who keeps creating even when applause is absent, the neighbor who quietly cares for someone in need. Every act of giving, whether big or small, empties you a little more in the best possible way. As you continue this journey, you find that the fear of failure loses its grip. You begin to see mistakes as steps on the path of growth and setbacks as lessons that sharpen your purpose. You understand that your life is not just about what you do for yourself, but about what you leave behind in the hearts of others. In the end, to die empty is to live with no reserves, to love without holding back, to create without censoring your soul, and to stand at the end of your days knowing there is nothing more left to give. It is the most courageous and generous way to live, and the most honorable way to leave this world behind. Now is the moment to make a decision that will change the course of your life and the lives of those around you. Don't wait for some distant future when conditions seem perfect or when fear no longer holds you back. That moment may never come unless you create it yourself. The only guarantee you have is today, the present moment where you have the power to start, to give, and to live fully. Begin by identifying one dream, idea, or gift you have been holding inside. It doesn't have to be monumental or world-changing overnight. It simply has to be something meaningful to you that you've been postponing. Write it down. Commit to taking a small but concrete step toward it in the next 24 hours. Maybe it's drafting the first paragraph of a book, reaching out to someone for mentorship, starting a conversation you've been avoiding, or sharing your skills with a local community. Whatever it is, don't overthink it. Action fuels momentum. Next, examine your daily habits and routines. Are they helping you pour out your gifts, or are they slowly draining your passion and energy? Make intentional choices to carve out time and space for what truly matters to your purpose. Protect this time fiercely as if it were the most valuable currency you own, because it is. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow and who hold you accountable for showing up as your best self. Distance yourself from negativity or those who discourage your dreams. Practice releasing perfectionism. Understand that progress beats perfection every time. Your first attempt might be imperfect, but it is a necessary step toward mastery and impact. Share your ideas, your creations, your voice, even when they feel raw or incomplete. The world needs your authenticity more than your polish. Lastly, remind yourself daily of the fleeting nature of time. Use this awareness not to induce fear, but to ignite passion and urgency. Reflect on the legacy you want to leave behind, not in material wealth, but in influence, inspiration, and love. Let this vision drive you forward, especially when obstacles arise or motivation wanes. You have been given unique gifts, stories, and experiences that no one else can replicate. Don't let them be buried with you. Choose today to live intentionally, to act courageously, and to give generously. Live so fully that when the time comes, you can say with confidence that you died empty, leaving nothing undone, no dream unrealized, and no gift unshared. The world is waiting for what only you can give. The question is, will you answer the call?